Good morning, everyone. I hope you all are doing well this morning. Thank you all for joining this employee orientation session. My name is Kristen Gilly. I am a consultant here with Evergreen Solutions. On here today with me, I have Allie Crumpler. She is another consultant. So we will be sharing with you guys today everything that you will need to know moving forward regarding the compensation and classification study. So just to give you a little insight on who we are, Evergreen Solutions is a national public sector consulting firm. We are located in Tallahassee, Florida, and we have worked in almost every state. And we've done over 1,000 of these studies. So we have extensive public sector human resources experience, and we offer a full service human resources consulting. So our expertise is in local governments, school districts and divisions, higher education institutions, state agencies, and quasi-governmental organizations. So our goals of this study, once again, this is a compensation and classification study. Our goals are to review the county's current classification and compensation system to ensure internal equity. We will also be conducting a salary survey of peer organizations to ensure external equity. And then at the end, we'll be producing some recommendations to provide the county with a classification and compensation system that is equitable both internally and externally. So just to set some expectations before we dig in a little bit, once again, this is a compensation and classification study. So we are strictly looking at how people are compensated as well as what those classifications are. We are not conducting a staffing study. So we are not looking at how many folks are needed in a division or a department. We're not looking at cutting positions or adding positions. We also are not guaranteeing any across the board employee salary increases. What we can guarantee you, though, is that we will never ever recommend decreasing someone's salary. So I just wanted to set those expectations. Now we're about to move into the process that we're going to go through, as well as a few other things. I want to point out, though, everyone should have a chat feature. If you have questions throughout the presentation, please put those in the chat box. It should be on the bottom of your screen. And at the end of this, we'll take those questions, we'll answer the questions, and we will proceed that way. So to talk about the study process, so there are some various phases of the study. So the first phase, and we've already done this, that's the assessment of current conditions. And that's where the county sends over the current system that you guys are working under, the current compensation classification system. We also analyze the employee data that they send us. So we're looking at how folks have progressed through those salary ranges. We're looking at, looking to see if we can see any compression that's taking place, anything like that. The next phase of the study is the employee outreach, and that is also already started. So you guys should have received a link to complete an employee survey. If you haven't received that, just let us know and we will see if we can figure out what's going on with that. But that survey went out last week, last Tuesday, I believe. And next week, Allie and I will be up in Martinsville, and we will be conducting some focus groups. So some of you may be asked to participate in a focus group. And that's where we will just dig in a little bit deeper into some of those survey questions. The next phase of the study that actually begins today is the job assessment tool. And we're going to go over that in depth today. And then a couple of weeks after the job assessment tool starts, so in a couple of weeks, the management issues tool will also be available. We will also have, like I mentioned earlier, we'll be conducting a market survey. And that's where we'll reach out to some peer organizations and get the salary information from them. And then once all of that comes together, we will have your compensation classification plan revisions. And at the very, very end of the study, we will be doing some job description updates. So as far as your role in this study, like I mentioned, we've already sent out that outreach survey. Some of you will be asked to participate in focus groups. We're also asking all employees to complete the job assessment tool. This closes, supervisors will have a chance to go in and review. So supervisors will be asked to complete the supervisor review as well as the management issues tool. So today we really want to dig into what this job assessment tool is and how you can best help us. So the job assessment tool is designed to gather information about each individual job. It is vital to this study. So the job assessment tool is used to determine how work is organized, determine whether the organization is paying competitively and fairly, to recommend appropriate pay levels and ranges, and to help us design a new system that is fair and equitable for all employees. So it will be available online 24 hours a day, 7 days a week during the active survey period. We plan to send this job assessment tool out later today, so you should receive that in your email that Human Resources has on file by the end of the day. It can be done from any computer with internet access. And in the email that you receive, each individual employee will be assigned a unique ID number. So that unique ID number is going to be what you log into the job assessment tool with. Like I said, it will be available for 2 weeks for employees, and the supervisor review will be open after that. So the JAT collects information on the following: the job overview, essential job functions, the type of work performed, education and work experience, the 5 job factors, which are leadership, working conditions, complexity, decision-making, and relationships. It's also going to ask about equipment and machinery and physical abilities. The way that I like to explain the job assessment tool is if you were to write your own job description, what would you put in that job description? What are the things that may be currently lacking or maybe in there that aren't really accurate? So we're asking you to tell us what should be in a job description for your position. So going back to that email that I said you guys would be getting by the end of the day, there's going to be a link in it, and you're going to click on that link, and when you do, it's going to take you to this page. You're going to enter the unique ID number that is provided in that email. Your last name should auto-populate. If your last name does not come up when you put that unique ID number in, please let us know because there is something wrong. We want to make sure that you are filling out the job assessment tool that has been assigned to you. So once you hit continue, this next screen will come up and you'll have 2 options. So employee JAT is going to be the first option, and then supervisor review. Remember, these first 2 weeks, only the employee JAT will be open. Supervisor review will not be open during the first 2 weeks. So employee JAT, you will click on that and you will be taken to this page. So these are the 5 sections of the job assessment tool. You can go in whatever order you want. We're not picky. Just make sure that whenever you go into every section at the bottom, there is a save button that you are clicking save. So we're going to go in order today. So the first is going to be the basic job related information. This is, if you think about your job description right now, this is typically what you typically see at the beginning of a job description. So we're asking you first to briefly provide an overview of your job, including a description of the purpose of your job and the type of work that you do. This may be the same as the introduction of your current job description, but it does not need to be. So think about it. If you were to tell someone in a minute or less what you do on a day-to-day basis, what would you say? We're not looking for a long paragraph here, 2 to 3 sentences max. Just tell us very quickly what it is that your position is responsible for. It also is going to ask you about any supervisory responsibilities, whether that is directly or indirectly. The type of work that you do, is this clerical or manual? Is it trades-based? Is it an administrator? Is it managerial or professional? Select whichever one best applies to your position. Then it's going to ask you to select the level of education and experience that best describes how much a new hire should be required to have. So this is not asking how much education and experience you have. It is also not asking what is on the current job description. It's asking how much do you, as the person who is working in this position, feel should be required for someone that is going to be hired into the same position. Same with licenses and certifications. You have the option to list any that you feel should be required as well as preferred for your position. The next section is the essential functions, and this is going to provide you with room to put in, I believe it's up to 15 tasks. So you're including all essential job functions that you perform. For every function that you list, if you could estimate the total percent of your time spent on each function on an annual basis and check off the most important functions you perform. I know that that percentage is sometimes a little difficult, but just do the best you can. But do make sure that you check off which ones are the most important functions. If you need to combine some tasks, that's perfectly fine. I know, like I said, I believe there's only up to space for up to 15 tasks. So if you need to combine some, that is okay. The next section is the job factors. So there are 5 job factors, the first being leadership. So you are given statements, a list of 8 statements, and it is going to ask you to select the closest match. Now, this is not a perfect system by any means, so one statement may not be the perfect match, but we're asking you to select the closest match. At the bottom of every single one of these factors is going to be a comment box, so you can make any notes. You know, maybe you want to tell us why you selected this statement over another one, or maybe only part of a statement applies. If you want to tell us that, however you want to use that comment box, that is totally fine. We love information, so as much information as you want to provide, we'll take it. So once again, this is asking what your level of leadership is within the county as a whole. The next is working conditions. This is asking what are the working conditions of your position. Are you working in an office environment, a safe, secure environment? Are you working out in the field? You know, that dynamic environment that requires you to be sensitive to change. Are you working in an environment with heavy equipment or machinery? You know, go through these, select whichever one best fits. And then once again, there's going to be that comment box where you can add additional information. Next, we have complexity. So this is asking what the level of complexity for your position. Is this, are you working specific clerical or manual tasks all the way up to developing policies, long range plans, allocating funds? You know, what is the level of complexity for your position? Decision making is the next factor. So once again, what is your level of decision making for the county overall? And then the last one is relationships. So this is asking, given your position, are you the only one in that position? Meaning you primarily work alone in that position. Do you have less than 10 coworkers who do the same thing as you? Do you have more than 10 coworkers who do the same type of activities as you? Are you the one that's overseeing and managing these workers? So choose whichever one is the closest match. Once again, you have that comment box. The next section is equipment and machinery, and this is going to be a check all that applies. So there may be some equipment and machinery not listed that you may use on a day-to-day basis. There's the comment box at the bottom of this page for you to add any additional equipment and machinery. And then we have physical ability. So you're indicating the type of work that you perform on a permanent basis, whether it's, heavy work, lifting more than 100 pounds, or light work, lifting no more than 20 pounds at a time. And then the required physical ability. So you're indicating all physical abilities that you must have to perform your essential job functions. So you can check all that apply. If you're not sure what we mean by something, so for example, you have hearing 1 and hearing 2 on here. Okay, well, what's the difference between hearing 1 and hearing 2? You can hover over that green question mark, and it's going to give you a description of what we mean. So check all of those that apply, and there, once again, make sure you're hitting save. That is the #1 tip we can give you at the end of every section. Hit save. If you have questions or comments about the JAT, any concerns, please email us at jat@consultevergreen.com. That is the email address that your invitation to complete the job assessment tool is going to come from, so you can reply to it. And then also we have our phone number, our office number here on the screen as well, which will also be in that email. Feel free to give us a call and you'll be connected to a team member that can assist you. So the next part I want to go into is the supervisor review. So remember, after those, the employees, you have 2 weeks to complete, then supervisors will go in and review their folks. So supervisors, we are just asking you to give it a second glance of eyes, a second set of eyes. Make sure that your folks did not leave anything out. You cannot change any answers. They can only agree or disagree and provide additional comments. And that period is a review period is going to begin immediately after the employee JAT entry is complete. So when you click on the supervisor review button on that very first screen you come to, when you log in, it's going to look something like this. You're going to see all of the employees that you've been assigned to review. You can tell on here whether they completed their JAT or not. If they didn't, you can still go in and provide some feedback on that position. Remember, this isn't an employee review. This is a job assessment. So if there's anything about that specific job that you want to, tell us about, maybe the, some of the roles, the tasks on the job description aren't accurate, you can go in and you can add some information regarding that. So at the bottom of every one of these boxes, when you hover over the box, it'll say view details, and that's how you go into the individual JAT. So you'll review all the ones that come up for you. And it's going to look something like this. So once again, you can see what the employee wrote. You cannot change their answers. You can only agree or disagree and provide additional feedback. I also want to talk real quick about the management issues tool. So if we go back to this screen, you can see here, there's a box that says click to go to the management issues tool. So this is where you can provide information about the employee or classifications that you feel need some special attention. So you're going to put in there the job title for review, employee name if you're referencing a specific employee. So if there's an employee that needs to be reclassified, this is where you're going to provide that information. And then any classification or job title issues. And you have some space to do that, as well as any compensation or pay grade issues. And then it's going to give you, extra room to do, more than one. If you run out of space, feel free to just email the information over to us and we'll take it from there. So that is the supervisor review and management issues tool. And now we will take some questions. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to unmute yourself and you can ask. And we will be glad to answer any questions that you have. Okay, I'm gonna guess there's no questions. So if you do think of anything, you do have that, you'll get that email later today. Feel free to go in and email us. There was one question about the job assessment tool not being seen by anyone. The survey that you guys were sent is anonymous. The job assessment tool is not anonymous. Supervisors, we do ask them to review to make sure you didn't leave anything out. Remember, this portion this isn't an employee review by any means. We are simply reviewing the individual jobs to make sure that every employee is being paid equitably internally. So we want to make sure that similar jobs are being paid similarly. Well, if you think of anything else, feel free to email us, give us a call, and Allie and I look forward to meeting some of you next week. Have a great day.